Okay, my vitamin situation is probably a little odd for some people, but I think that the system works ideally for me. And I know a lot of people just my husband in particular, just opens every bottle every day. But I have noticed my consistency with things has a lot to do with how much friction or lack of friction there is. And so if I can remove some layers of friction from the habit, it will most likely succeed. So these are my morning and lunchtime, or at least post breakfast vitamins that I do here. And then I use this one for my evening. You could use this for your entire day if you don't have very many that need to fit into the last little compartment for bedtime. But mine does not usually fit. Plus, strange thing is, so it used to have like a little sun, moon, it's worn off. So when I go to open, I feel like when I have pills in this one, it is not clear to me which one to open. I know that sounds so lame, but I told you, friction. So when I only see pills in this one and this one, I automatically go and open that one. Probably is not that important, but to me, it does help with consistency. So I'm just going to kind of show you what I use. Don't judge if you don't need these things or don't agree with them or whatever. I use algae cal strontium. This is something for bone density. You have to use it in conjunction with calcium, and it does have to be on either an empty stomach or at least a couple hours after a meal. So I use it. I actually had a consultation with a nutrition specialist, and they recommended that I do this in the morning because I tend not to eat in the morning for quite a while. So as soon as I wake up, somewhere usually between 4 and 5:30, depending on what's happening, I immediately take this first dose of vitamins. Then later, maybe 2 to 3 hours later, I have breakfast. At that point, I can have the second dose of pills, and then I take this one after dinner. So I take lysine, and I do that 3 times a day because I tend to get canker sores. Looks like I need to buy more. I have some other people in my house that also take lysine. So it looks like I'm out of that. I need to order more of that. I think I actually have more. I take, here's my calcium. It's an algae-based calcium. If I can find a discount code, I will put it in the comments section below. This, you need to divide your dose because your body can only absorb so much calcium at a time, usually like 400 to 500 milligrams at a time. So I take that. You cannot take it at the same time as the strontium. So I take it usually at least 3 hours after the strontium. And then I also take it after dinner. The reason I like the algae-based calcium is if you have any issues with digestion with calcium, which some people do, other forms can be hard to digest, but algae-based calcium is considered to be, easier to digest. Also, the algae cal company guarantees that your next bone density test will improve if you're consistent, and that is true for me. I forget the number, osteopenia. My body type my thin nature, being Caucasian, there's a few different factors. Also, I had hormonal issues when I was younger. So anyway, all these things can make your bones less dense. When I started taking the algae cal, my bone density improved. Usually we tell people that your bone density you just want to maintain once you become an adult. You just want to try to avoid it getting worse. But to actually improve it is not always considered, the easiest thing to do. So calcium, vitamin D, weight-bearing exercise. So, all right, now here is something I've been taking for my jaw. I am not positive if it's helping. I think it might be. It has PEA, curcumin, ginger, hyaluronic acid. I'm probably saying that wrong. Hyaluronic acid, magnolia extract, boswellia, some kind of bark extract, collagen, and some other enzymes. So I take this all the times that I take. I take one morning, one lunchtime, and two after dinner. And I do think I've seen an improvement. I like to do natural things as much as possible. I really try to avoid anti-inflammatory medication. So I also take ginkgo biloba. That's more for stage of life, but there's a lot of different benefits. So I take one twice a day. I also take progesterone, which I have to pick up more of that, and I take that at bedtime or nighttime, at least after dinner. It can make you a little sleepy. I do take a probiotic, but not consistently all the time. And lately I've been taking kelp once or twice a week. I'm not convinced I need it, but I've read different things about that. So this is how I keep track. That's the other thing, trying to remember if you've done it or not. So to me, if it's labeled and I know the day of the week, then I know if I've taken it. If I'm going to work, I just take one of these with me. And if I'm leaving town, I take those with me. So, oh, here's my vitamin D. I add this to our smoothies in the morning. This one has 5,000 international units, probably a little high for, most people. So you can probably do this once or twice a week. I do use it probably at least 4 or 5 days a week, but I try to, my vitamin D level has been okay, but it will tend to go low. I can make a whole video on vitamin D and things about vitamin D, but that's just something that most everybody really needs to supplement. So that is my vitamin system. I hope that helps you in case you need a plan or system for your vitamins.